Hello, this is Dr. Megan Miller.
And this is Joe Smith.
And we're attempting to do We'll Decide Wednesday with really bad internet.
And we're spinning the wheel, and let's see what's going to land on this week.
Even the wheel's taking forever. We did, okay, so this is wellness practices, how to handle disruptions to the day. So this is actually a nice follow-up from last time. It was a question that came up. So Joe, do you want to go first? Just because who knows if we're even going to be able to hear me?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let me set my timer for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I could probably talk about this for a while, but I'm going to save the sanity of everyone and Megan's internet connection. All right, and my time begins now. So, how to handle disruption to the day? This is like an ever-changing practice for me. I'm not the best at handling disruptions at all. I think the best ways I handle my disruptions during the day is making sure like I get up early and plan for the day. So then I know like what I have to do, and then also think about ways I could pivot when I need to pivot throughout the day if something comes up, whether or not there's cancellation, if there's something happen on the road, if there's traffic. I just have to think ahead of like what I can do best. Another thing is I do the most important things first thing in the morning, because who knows what my afternoon's going to look like. Something in the afternoon could very well happen between like getting called home from school, or something pops up with another client of mine and I have to pivot and go to that. So by just doing the most important things that I feel are so sacred or that I have to complete, getting those things done first thing in the morning really helps me handle any disruption during the day. I know very well if I try to work out at night, it doesn't happen. Also, there's just based on the podcast that I have listened to and professionals that study this, working out at night really causes more issues with your sleep, and that's something I don't want to disrupt either, because then that follows on what's super important to me. And by making sure I prep my meals ahead of time the night before, I set myself up better for success for the next day. And then my time's up.
Oh my gosh, this connection is so bad. I'm gonna have to try to like restart my computer before the weekly meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
We're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna do 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And for those members of the collective that have joined us, if you have any tips on how you handle disruptions, feel free to let us know in the chat, or you can come on the microphone when I'm done. I just have to set my timer. Okay, so handling disruptions. Okay, so there's a couple of things like I typically try to have my like must do list of things. So I might have, a big list of stuff that I'm trying to get done in the day, but I've always identified what the priorities are. So if there's disruptions, like say, Taylor is homesick, or like a meeting gets called that I didn't plan for, or something like that, or something takes longer than I thought it would. I know what those like priority things are. And I include some wellness practices within that as well. So like running is really helpful for like my wellness. And if I don't get to run enough, I never thought I would say this. I don't do well. So, so there might be, I might have certain days of the week that I want to run, but, if some things get disrupted, I at least have like, there's like one day where it's like, okay, it's still happening on this day, no matter what. Like I've set everything up where that's the case. And then of course, like I said, with work and stuff like that, I know, this, like, okay, I have a list of 10 things, but like these 2 things are priorities. So I at least need to get these 2 things done before I go to bed tonight or whatever. But 2 other things that I think are really important that I don't think is like modeled well enough for us is being able to like let go and just be okay with like, yep, I had a list of 10 things today and I'm only going to get like 2 of them done. And as it becomes clear that maybe you're not even going to get those 2 things done, instead of like beating myself up about it or trying to like stay up super late getting it done. Now, occasionally there's like an absolute deadline of some sort that like I don't have a choice, but if it's something where it's like I've promised to give someone, a video or whatever by a certain time, and I can see that that's just not going to happen, I have no qualms about emailing that person and just saying like, hey, this is taking longer than I thought it would, or this disruption happened. And the new time that I'll have this to you is like this day. And I try to give a realistic expectation there. But in the past, I didn't used to do those things. It would be like, well, this was my list and I need to get through it and I don't care, what it takes or whatever. Or if I didn't get done, I'd have negative thoughts about that and like stress about it. So really just trying to let go of that has been really helpful. And that's my time. Leslie, Liz, Amelia, do you have anything you want to share about how you handle disruptions?
I have a similar process of prioritizing. And I think as I've aged, I've gotten much better at letting things go. And also, life experience gives you a little bit more perspective of what's really do or die. And so I definitely just prioritize those things. And it's okay that I didn't, go work out because this was more important. And I just let it be that, and I accept that, and I move on.
I love it. I definitely think the age thing factors into for me. Like it's kind of like you have to experience it to be able to set those things aside and be okay with it. Liz or Amelia?
I'd have to say, I have to say yes about the age thing, for sure, but I also don't know. Oops, sorry, it's ringing.
Speaking of disruptions.
Yeah. I also have to think about I think too, being a parent kind of got me to the point where I was like, well, I did the best that I could, because I learned the hard way, when that started happening, that I'm only going to get done when I get done, especially working with a child at home and dealing with all that. When I first read this, I took this to also mean too, those immediate disruptions. So when I'm in the group working on something and somebody calls me and immediately needs something, or I get an email that I have to immediately attend to, one of the things I've had to learn to do is not try to multitask throughout the day constantly, but to stop the one task that I was doing to attend to something else that I needed to do, and only do that and get that done, and then go back to what I was doing or the other. If I have to go and put out a fire or deal with something, and that just made me more efficient and more effective. And then talking about what Joe was talking about is that I also meal plan. And if I don't do it the day before, it definitely, I am on really strict macros right now, because I was a little wild and crazy for a little while. So I had to lock it down. So it takes a lot of work to plan all that and get them really precise. And if I don't do it the night before, I'm playing macro Tetris all day long. I eat 6 times a day. So whenever it comes time to eat, I'm spending 10 minutes trying to figure out what I can have to eat instead of just grabbing and going. So, so I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Liz. Crystal on Facebook said, I just did a company-led training on integrity, and your transparency and renegotiation of tasks with acceptance and grace was key in the discussion. That's awesome. And then she also said, I try to give the person disruption a response to say, I hear you, and give a time frame during which I will be available and address. I then write it in my Microsoft to do so I don't forget. That's great as well. Yeah, sometimes those disruptions, I don't know why, it just feels like there's like a pressure to respond, even if you already have like something that you're doing. I think we're in like a much more like immediacy type environment at this point. So being able to just say like, I'm busy right now, like this is when I'll get back to you if possible, obviously helps with that too. Amelia, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, I do a lot of the same things that everyone else has said. I do plan my day first thing in the morning, but loosely. And then I use the Pomodoro method. So I spend 25 minutes working on a task, and then I have a 5-minute break. And during that 5-minute break is when I allow myself to kind of shift my focus. So when I'll check my emails or things, and what that has done is it delays those disruptions. So I'm able to focus for that 25 minutes. So unless, the house is burning down or one of the dogs needs something immediately,
Yeah.
It cuts down, and it kind of organizes some of those disruptions that come up in my day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've heard about the Pomodoro method. I haven't tried it myself. I think I kind of do that a little bit like in my head or whatever, but I don't, physically set a timer and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. Hopefully this recording will be okay because my internet's so bad. And hopefully I will see you all in about 15 minutes for the weekly meeting with me. We'll hopefully make it through with the internet working okay. And we have on Sunday, for those of you who are members of the collective or client Prosper clients, Kate Carroll is doing a vision board activity on Sunday from 11 to 1 Eastern. And then there's going to be like follow-up ones to check in and, coach and all that fun stuff. So I'm really excited about that for Sunday. And then we have next Saturday is our second webinar of the year with Kelly Taylor Saunders. And she's going to be talking about children being humans too. So I'm really excited about that as well. So hopefully I'll see some of you in a few minutes. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.